Our Messiah, according to official churches, priests, etc., descended from the tribe of Judah. Judah is one of the 12 sons of Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. All his progeny makes up the tribe of Judah. Judah was the 4th son of Jacob, whom God gave the name Israel. Judah's mother was Leah. Leah's father Laban deceived Jacob. She was given to him as his bride instead of her younger sister Rachel, whom Jacob truly loved. Rachel, Jacob's true wife, gave birth to their real firstborn, Joseph. Here I give you some descriptions of Judah. They make absolutely clear that the Messiah is in no way can come from this bloodline. Jacob loves Joseph, his real firstborn, who is generous, helpful, and humble, more than all his brothers. That is why they hate Joseph. First and foremost, Judah, the leader of the brothers. Joseph's brothers make plans to kill him, which Reuben, the first son of Leah, prevents. Judah suggests to sell Joseph, their own brother, into Egyptian slavery. His brothers listen to him. Another example of Judah's wickedness. He chooses his wife, Shua, a daughter of a Canaanite man. God had explicitly said to not marry Canaanites. I now quote from Malachi chapter 2, verses 11 and 12. Judah hath dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah hath profaned the holiness of the Lord, which he loved, and hath married the daughter of a strange god. The Lord will cut off the man that doeth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offereth an offering unto the Lord of hosts. Judah took a woman called Tamar for his firstborn son Er. Er was so wicked that the Lord had him die, same with his second son Onan, whom Judah had given Tamar as a wife after Er's death. Judah promised Tamar to give her his third son Shelah when he was old enough, but he did not keep his promise. Tamar, out of revenge, sat at the roadside and covered her face with a veil. Judah thought she was a whore and impregnated her. This means Judah impregnated his own daughter-in-law. Tamar gave birth to twins, Perez and Zerach. According to official statements, our Messiah is said to be a direct descendant of Perez. So you think God chose the one of the 12 sons of Jacob who is the most violent, domineering, and mean, Judah, who fathered with his daughter-in-law the ancestor of our Messiah? Never ever. I now quote 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about you, seeking whom he may devour. So you see the lion, the roaring lion of Jacob. Before Jacob dies, he blesses all his sons. What does he have to say about Judah, his own son? I'll read from Genesis chapter 49, verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? Very clear, I think. These were some examples of Judah's character and behavior and his wickedness. Now we go to Joseph, of whose seed line our Messiah really comes from. Joseph, whom his brothers sold into Egyptian slavery for 20 silver shekels, because they envied him and his abilities. He was a prophetic dreamer, meek and helpful. I now go to 1 Chronicles, chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but forasmuch as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel. And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph's. Absolutely no doubt about it. Now I go to Genesis chapter 37. Just a second. Oopsie. No, here. Genesis chapter 37, verses 3 and 4. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors, the rainbow coat that Judah dipped in blood when they pretended that he had been killed. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. So you see the envy and now I go to Genesis chapter 39, and it describes how the Lord is with Joseph, even in Egypt. And the Lord, Genesis chapter 39, verses 2 and 3, and the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Verse 5, and it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And now verses 21 through 23. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. So you see, even Pharaoh praises Joseph with following words. I come to the prison thing in a minute to explain what happened, but first we see the blessing of the Pharaoh, or not blessing, but he praises Joseph with following words. Chapter 41, Genesis 41, verses 38 to 40. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. And thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And I think this is very clear. So Joseph lived in the house of Potiphar, chief of the bodyguard of Pharaoh. Potiphar's wife tried to seduce Joseph in a massive way. Joseph refused, consequently, and was thrown into prison for 2 years, because Potiphar's wife falsely accused him that he had tried to rape her. We remember Judah, the alleged progenitor of our Messiah, impregnates his daughter-in-law, who pretends to be a prostitute, the result being their son Perez. Official genealogy, for example Matthew chapter 1, claims that ancestry goes via Jacob, Judah, Perez. Never would the Almighty Father allow an incestuous, whoring progenitor, Judah, in the ancestry of our Messiah. God targeted Joseph, who stocks up food in the 7 fat years, so that, as we read in Genesis chapter 41, verses 56-57, and the famine was all over the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt, and all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. Joseph, who sends his brothers home to their father Jacob, laden with food supplies, without them having to pay anything. Joseph, who welcomes his brothers and their families, without thoughts of revenge, and lets them live in the most fertile part of Egypt, in Goshen. Joseph, whose sons Ephraim and Manasseh are treated by Jacob on an equal footing with Joseph's brothers. Please read Genesis chapter 48, the whole chapter, and you'll see this. Joseph, whose second-born son Ephraim was brought before Manasseh by Jacob and was specially blessed, is also in Genesis chapter 48. Now we go to Jeremiah 31, verse 9. We read, God speaks, they shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble, for I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Absolutely clear. Joseph, the only one of the 12 brothers whom Jacob blesses before his death with a wonderful blessing. I go to Genesis 49. All the blessings go to Joseph. To 49 verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. And verses 25 and 26. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. In the German Bible it says consecrated, not separate. When Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil, and now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them. This was Genesis 50, verses 15 to 21. In Revelation we read of the Lamb that brings us salvation, not of the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Read, for example, Revelation 5, verse 6, 5:12, 6:1, 6:17, 7:9, 7:10, 7:14, etc. It's always the Lamb who saves us. Do you see how we've been lied to by all churches, priests and preachers? They want us to believe that Messiah descends from an incestuous, whoring and deceiving man, Judah. This is their line of the tribe of Judah. That's why they often make the hand sign of the lion's paw. Please study the Bible, especially the Old Testament, to understand the true genealogy. It is of vital importance to not fall for the false Jesus, the false rock whom they will present and who is Satan himself, because that is the goal of the whole building of lies. Satan will pass himself off as the Messiah, as the Savior and bringer of salvation. The tribulation will be so indescribable that the vast majority of the people will be blinded and fall for him. They will take his mark and lose their soul to Satan, irreversibly. The real Messiah from the tribe of Joseph will appear after Satan misled the majority of the people. Satan, as the angel of light, will use all of his means to drag as many people as possible into perdition, and his compliant human and demonic helpers will do their best to assist him in doing so. Study the Bible, be steadfast in your belief, and don't get caught by Satan. My deep gratitude goes to the woman who opened my eyes to these connections. I will leave a link to her website in the descriptions. Thank you for watching.